group where just discuss substance use recovery related topics. So today I wanted to talk about developing new and healthy habits, right? In addiction, a lot of times we develop a whole bunch of bad habits, just, maybe not even on purpose, but, habits are formed by, repeatedly doing something, and it just becomes part of your life, part of your routine, even, if you may have never wanted it to be, but in addiction, I can only speak from my own experience, but for me, my whole life, everything I did revolved around getting that next drink, getting that next drug. And so with it came all these negative side effects, like slacking on my hygiene, being constantly and consistently late for everything, flaking out on friends, just, agreeing to do something and then never following through, and some of these things just, they became habits for me, and I wasn't proud of it, but because my life revolved around getting that next drink or drug, it just, that's what took precedent, and all the habits that formed around that lifestyle, they were there to stay because I wasn't willing to give up that drink or drug. Oh, sorry. So I read a quote earlier today, and it said, recovery is not just saying no to drugs, but it's saying yes to new and healthy habits. Right? So that's kind of what prompted me to do this group today. So, the first step in this process of finding new habits or changing old ones is awareness, right? Becoming aware and recognizing those bad habits that you want to change going forward, or maybe being aware of new habits that you want to form, that take the place of something you used to do. So how do we do that? There's plenty of different ways to just look back. If you wanted to write down, think about things that you do today or in the present moment that you'd like to get away from and no longer do. So for me, I think one of my biggest habits that I got into in addiction was lacking like on my hygiene, right? Like at night, not brushing my teeth or not showering, and I didn't like that I did that, but again, I just wasn't in a place to focus on fixing it. So, that, and I said like being late and then eating poorly, eating all my meals either at a fast food place, going through the drive-through, or picking up a store-bought, some, cheeseburger, whatever. So eating poorly, and those were things I did in my addiction. Now, when I got clean and went to treatment, I had to give up some of those, right? And some became immediately I began making new habits because, first of all, because when you're in treatment, you don't have a lot of say in what happens, but also they set up on purpose. At the time, I was kind of frustrated with it, but I realized looking back that the reason there's such a structured schedule and the reason that you have these classes and all your time's taken up is because they're already day one teaching you how to build new and better habits, right? So once you either make a list or just think about it in your head, you don't always have to write everything down. You may know off the top of your head some things that you want to change. So awareness, and then the next part of that is making a plan, right? So developing a plan to change those habits, and that a plan is like, setting small, achievable goals that um, that when that you can realistically accomplish and like work towards every day, because also you want to be able to make them small enough so you can get to it. So like for instance, if you're trying to eat healthier, um, maybe instead of eating fast food 5 times a week, say, hey, I'm only going to eat it twice this week or once, and I'm gonna cook my own meal once a day, just setting up little things like that. So when you accomplish it, you can, it feels good, right? It feels good. I used to write in a journal, for my day every morning, some things that I would like to accomplish, just small goals that led to my bigger goal of, like, my biggest goal in the beginning was to get to 1 year sobriety. So I broke that down and listed a lot of steps on how I was going to get to that 1 year. And part of that, for me was like taking better care of my hygiene, right? Working on my mental wellness through meditation, mindfulness activities, going to meetings, just keeping the house clean, making your bed, stuff like that is kind of how I did. And each day when I got done, making my bed in the morning, I'd check that off in my journal. Okay, that part's done. Went to a meeting, check. For me, that just felt good. Felt like I was working towards something, and I could see the benefits of the work that I was putting in. Also, in making a plan, involving your support network, whether that's family, friends, sponsor, peer support, whoever it is, involving somebody, and that kind of just adds, I think, another level of accountability, right? So once you tell somebody that you want to stop eating fast food every day, and hey, I'd like your support in this, and call me out if I'm going, to eat to the McDonald's or whatever, just call me out so I'm aware of it. And it adds that extra layer of accountability, and having a strong support network is always key in recovery and in developing new healthy habits. So, hey, I just was reading the comments. Yeah, fast food. Pete, yep, thanks. Totally relatable. I feel you, man. Yeah. And for me, a lot of this stuff didn't really, come naturally. It took a lot of work and repetition, because like I said in the beginning, habits are formed through it's really through practice, whether it's practicing a good thing or a bad thing, you form habits through just repeating that same behavior. So when you're trying to build, new habits, you just got to think about how many years or months or whatever did I eat poorly, maybe 10 years. And so it's not going to, you don't need perfection overnight. If your long-term goal is to completely cut it out, take small steps and take it in little chunks so it's doable, because you don't want to overwhelm or take on too much and then feel like you didn't accomplish it. So so then the next thing is just, you become aware, you make a plan, and now you're just working to stay on track, and I guess, like, again, it comes back to a support network. Friends, family, they can help you stay on track, but also, maybe keeping track of how you're doing. Something like how I was saying, I used to write it down and put a check mark, and do like a weekly check-in with yourself, and just go through your list and see what you accomplished, what you didn't accomplish, where you could improve, and then just make a new plan with, okay, so how can I make this more realistic or more achievable in the short term? Now, you still have that long-term goal. I'm gonna keep just using fast food, but you still have that long-term goal of completely cutting that out. But now maybe you have to rework how you're getting to that long-term goal. So yeah, just staying on track. And yeah, this is something important about all this is if you have a slip up, right? Like for me, quitting smoking was something else that I did in the beginning of recovery. And every now and then I would bum a cigarette off somebody at a meeting. And sometimes I kind of get really, really upset with myself about it. Just felt like whatever, I try to quit all at once. And then I'd have a friend or two, and they would remind me like, hey man, like you went from smoking a pack and a half a day to now you smoke one cigarette every now and then. Like it's not so bad. You know what I mean? It's a tough thing to kick. So with that said, it's okay, and slip ups, they don't have to happen, but they may. So not beating yourself up over that too much, and then learning from them. Well, why did I smoke that cigarette? Why did I go to McDonald's more than I said I was going to? Looking back and just recognizing how you were feeling, what type of day it was, understanding why that occurred, and learning from it, then you can move forward in a better, more direct route to your long-term goal. So yeah, and a lot of this stuff, developing new habits, a lot of it comes down to self-control, and just through repeated practice, you're going to get better and better at something. So the more that the more you put into something, the more you're going to get out, right? And just practice makes perfect. So just stick to your plan and keep working towards those long-term goals. So another thing I wanted to mention was, in all this, we have these long-term goals. Why do we want to stop eating fast food, right? If it's, do I want to lose weight? Do I want to feel healthier, feel better about myself, look better? Why do I want to quit smoking? For my health, or because I don't want my teeth to be yellow, or whatever. Whatever your long-term goal is, trying to keep that somewhere on your mind while you're putting all this work in to change and develop new habits. Because it's important to have, I think it's important to have like a purpose in your recovery, a purpose in your life, a reason why you're doing what you're doing. Because that's what recovery is all about, is, whatever it is for you, is bettering yourself, is becoming a better person, or just being a better member of your family, or better partner, whatever it is. But keeping that bigger picture, up front, and really trying to use that as motivation. And then lastly, I kind of talked about, but just being patient. Like I said, things may not always go as planned. There may be road bumps, speed bumps, whatever, but accepting those as they come, learning from them, and moving forward. And another thing, with just being patient and understanding it's never too late to make a change. So, no matter where you're at in life, how old, how young, how long you've been doing something, it's never too late to change that habit or that routine if you want to. And something I found when I was reading stuff about this topic was, I just want to read it off here. Something called ego depletion. And so what it is self-control is like a muscle that can get fatigued if you use it too much in one area, you will become vulnerable to make poor choices elsewhere. So I kind of took that as, you know, if you have, when you get into recovery and you're feeling really good, you're clean, you're just feeling better than you have in years, and you have all these things you want to change, right? You took the drug out, that's huge, but then you have this whole other part of recovery, which is building a new healthy lifestyle of wellness and sobriety, or whatever. Doesn't have to be sobriety, but of wellness. And you want to change these 10 things, and you're feeling so good, and you're like, I'm gonna do it now, I'm gonna do this now, and cut back on smoking, cut back on food, exercise every day, all this. To me, it's like that's part of just being patient and taking things slow, and really just thinking about prioritizing, right? And thinking, what can I accomplish this week, instead of trying to just do everything at once, because that's where that ego depletion comes in, is that we put way too much energy into one thing of not smoking, but then here we're letting up, we're slipping on going to meetings or whatever it may be. So just trying to slow things down and do what we can today for our wellness, and lean on that support network, and put it down on paper, and have your support network hold you accountable, and hold yourself accountable too, but be realistic and honest with yourself about how much we can change in a small amount of time versus how much we can change if we stay with it for a long time. So that's the class today. That's about all I got. I know the holidays are coming up, and it's for some really good, for some it's difficult. For me, it's difficult, and a lot of my this is when I really have to remind myself of my daily routine, make a plan for the holidays, know who you're going to call, know what you're going to do. And if, times get tough when you're, on Christmas, whatever, just really make a plan, and continue with your wellness routine, and have fun, and stay safe, and getting excited for 2021. We're almost through 2020, so I think that is a good sign to me. But I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Thank you for the comments, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.